Positive Gains is back today, and our special guest is Shane Graham. You've probably seen him in the movie Ride, Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and many other things. Shane, thanks for being on today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Right. So before we get started into the movie, we'll go over some background and how you got started in acting.
Yeah. So I wanted to be an actor when I was a little kid. And so what I would do was I would ask my parents when I was like 3, 4, if I could be in the box, because the box was the TV. And I was always told that I wasn't old enough. And I started seeing commercials of kids that were my age. And so I brought my argument towards my parents at like 5 that they're my age. I should be in there with them.
Yeah.
And I even cried to get out of spankings, and I just loved acting. I loved pretending. And so when I was 7, my mom took me to Hollywood on a whim, and we walked around asking for agents. And so I was asking people at coffee shops, and I was asking all these people at random who's an agent. And as I understand how the story went, as I went up to a guy in like a coffee bean or something and said, "Hey, are you an agent? Are you an agent?" And one of them was like, "Yeah, kid, you want to do an audition?" So I went in for an audition, and I did good. And I think one of my first auditions was a potato chip commercial. And then the second one was for the first new Star Wars, because they liked what I was doing, and they referred me to an agent in Austin. So we ended up going back to where we lived. And, I just kept pursuing it, and didn't stop.
Wow. That's quite a story. I haven't heard one like that. Going out there and kind of getting it on your own, going and asking.
Yeah, we didn't have any connections. We didn't have anything to give me. And I just had that, dream as a kid. And then I never gave up the dream. And so every few years, I see new actors and people go out the door and give up on it. And I see more people walk in. I see them go out the door. I see more people walk in, and I'm still here. And I've been doing it I've been auditioning for 23 years. And as time went by, I learned that I wasn't a good actor, and I studied. And then I learned that I needed to improve on various aspects, especially being in the moment. And so I had to train that. And then I learned how important connections to people was.
Yeah.
And so I focused on that. And, I just slowly built what you're supposed to do as a artist, without any guidance or, so to speak.
Right.
I didn't have any feet in the door. I just kept knocking. And the casting directors, I grew up with them. So they grew up seeing me come in and try out. And I would book. I booked a lot of commercials. Here and there every year I would book something, be it a small part in a film or what have you. And they saw me progress, and I became, into my own. Oh. And now I have a good law of average because I do the work. I do the work that's required. I study my butt off, and I'm in the moment, and I don't stick to one particular decision that I've made for this scene. I just let it affect me, and I'm there. And so, yeah, now I don't audition often, but when I do, I get in there because I show them that I'm there and I'm going to work. So
get in there and knock it out of the park too.
Yeah, I don't mess around with my acting. I can be pretty goofy. My friends know that I'm a bit of a goof and a prankster, but whenever it comes to something that's non-comedy, I'm very switched on whenever we're rolling. But yeah, you just gotta do that, and then I think 60% is your effort and 40% is luck and timing, because a lot of it I don't take it personal when I don't get told yes now.
Right.
I just there's so many reasons why that don't have to do with your work as an actor, but you just have to.
Okay, sorry, we had a little connection problem. Um,
Oh,
so
no
to my
worries.
so to my next question. So you were born in Bryan, and
Yeah.
shout out to you for that. I used to live in Bryan many years ago.
Oh, cool.
Um,
You're out in College Station spot.
yeah, I was right there in College Station. And then so then for you being in Austin, that's my favorite place in Texas. You know, I have family
Yeah.
all over Texas. So obviously I grew up a Longhorn fan, which most people would call me a traitor
Nope.
since
Nope. You're good. UT, baby. UT. That's
yeah,
cool.
there we
Yeah.
go. Yeah. So growing up in Bryan, and then, you know, now being in Arizona, I
Mhm.
tell people it's different. I spent my early years there, but it's always nice to see, you know, people come out of that area, and then a love for Austin, which I'm sure you have, because again, I tell people that's one of the most beautiful places in Texas, you know, as far as the 4th of July, you know, the fishing, everything, just the greenery. Um,
And I just like the general feel of Austin. It's just fun yeah, and it's kind of its own place. It's not even like Texas really. It's like a
no, yeah.
whole different land. So yeah, I really love Austin, and I've got a lot of friends there. A lot of people I look up to there, and it's been great. It was actually cool because um, I moved to LA for more audition opportunities, and that was after I went to school in New York for acting, and
Uh,
I put my nose to the grindstone, and I got good, and then I went to LA. I was like, all right,
okay.
I'm gonna find an agent. I'm gonna get a lot of work here. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And I got the agent. I started auditioning, and I booked something that films in Austin. And I'm like, okay, I'm going back. So
Yeah, yeah, even better.
that's where I filmed The Sun, and so we filmed around the Austin area, and it was cool to see all my friends again. But that place has such like a family feel to it. That's kind of what Austin is. It's like a giant family. That's really cheesy. What I just said is super cheesy, and that's
No,
not
but
untrue.
it makes sense though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just got that vibe that you're at a family reunion or something.
Yeah, it's real homey. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so the movie Ride, how we my family and I stumbled upon it. We were sitting on Amazon Prime, and I'm kind of a cheapskate, so I'm one of those guys that will sign up for something, and then once my free trial's up, you know, I'm done.
No,
Um,
you just make a new email and do it again.
yeah, I'm on my
Yeah.
fifth email on that, so I'm sure they're gonna
There you
shut
go.
me down. But
Yeah.
yeah, we were scrolling through and we were looking for a family movie. Saw the picture, we clicked on it, sounded good. Um, and what stood out to me was the adoption part of it, because I'm adopted. So I
Oh,
felt
cool.
like, oh, this might hit home. So, you know, we watch it, and my wife had to turn away for a while because she was almost in tears, you know, towards the end of it, with it being such a good story. So we enjoyed it. But for you, what were some of your favorite moments, you know, when you signed on to play your role, and going through it? What did you take from the film?
Well, I remember reading the script and I cried a little bit, and I was just finishing up one of the seasons of The Sun, and I still had another day or two, and I think I had a reshoot day,
Mhm.
and I was like, I gotta go do this audition. I was in Austin. I went on a plane, and I went into the audition room the next day, and I read for originally the brother.
Oh
I read
wow!
for Blake's role and Rory, and uh, I felt like I did a good job. I went in there and uh, gave my best performance, and a producer in there said, uh, "Take the script for John and come back in." And so I actually cold read for John. They gave me the script, and I walked out of the room, and I took 10 minutes in the bathroom to myself and just barreled through it, and then went in and performed John.
Wow.
And they liked it. They wanted to see me come back to read for it again. And so I ended up getting a call back for John instead. And yeah, before the call back, the casting director, Brittany Ward, was wonderful. And had me come in and read with her before the actual callback, because she's very committed. She wants to find actors. She's not worried about names. She wants to find someone who's, going to do the job.
Oh, okay.
And so I went in and I performed, and they gave it to me, and I tried not to cry in the room, and then I left. Well, the story, it's so beautiful. It's a story about love.
Yeah.
And I also like that there's not a because I've seen so many stories that are race related, and many of them are amazing, but a lot of them are just cliche and they don't help. Where they
Right.
there's a typical white savior, or there's something where now they're friends, and it's it's like, I don't want things shoved in my face. I want a real story. And what was cool about The Ride, it's a real story. It's not like Hollywood Jumbo that they wrote down and they're like, this is going to make people smile and cry and give us an Oscar. They're like, here's an actual story of someone that this happened to. And all they did was they changed the adaptation so it was in America so they could shoot it. And they changed the ages so it was easier to film budget, because they didn't have a big budget for this.
Yeah.
And but all the elements of the story, the hate that he held because it was taught to him as a kid,
right?
And how he let it go and learned to love Eldridge as a father. It's just this beautiful story of family that even talking about it kind of does stuff to me. But and then I know John, and John was there on set with us, and he's a good friend of mine now, a very good friend, like a family member. And he's so kind and supportive, and he wants the story to be out. And I got to talk to John's parents, the real parents.
Oh, wow.
And they were wonderful. And it's just like this beautiful thing, because when I saw based on a true story, you think, okay, 20%.
Yeah.
And it's like 85. It's like on the story. And so, I decided that it was just this beautiful story that needed to be told. And, I'm glad that they brought me on. So what I did, I gave it all of my heart and attention. And I actually approached that role differently than the other ones, because normally when I film something, I'm prepared and I show up to set for HMU, but then I'm social and silly, and I goof around at lunchtime with people and try to make friends, and then whenever the set, whenever camera speed rolling, I'm in it, and then when it's cut, I'm out of it and I'm back to goofing off. Well, The Ride was different because the character has a lot of hate.
Yeah,
he has to let go of it, and so I didn't want to be disingenuous. I don't actually want to feel hate, mind you, but I want to make sure that I have the feeling held that I'm alone, that I feel alone, that I feel disconnected. And so I actually, for The Ride, for the first time, tried a more Strasberg approach to it. And I stayed in my room. I ate like chicken salad for dinner every night and studied my lines, listened to sad music, and went to bed and got up, went to set. I went and did my scenes, and then I would disappear and brood, and then I did my scenes and I disappear, and people barely saw me because I was so sure that if I just made sure, because I'm very social and I like to chat, if I could avoid it, then the isolation would be there in the scenes without having to be, because my natural style is presence. I like Meisner. I like being in the moment, letting things affect you, and living truthfully. Well, if I live truthfully, I'm not like John, or how John was, rather. Now I'm like John. John's like me. He's very fun and outgoing and cool, and nothing like he was as a kid. So I try to capture that. And whenever we finished and called martini on the last day and got it done, we all went to meet up at a wrap party, and I came in finally, after these 18 days of
weight had been lifted, huh?
I was just like, hey guys, we did it. They're like, who are you? What's going on? And it was cool though. It was just very rewarding for me to try something new like that. But I felt like there was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders since it was my first lead in a film.
Yeah, such a big role is what I took from it too. And I think they did such a good job of telling the story because it wasn't too much. Yeah, there was hate in there, but it wasn't overbearing. And I felt like the background really made sense. I mean, obviously it being a true story, but it really tied everything in together. And, you know, for the title of it, it just made sense, The Ride, because I can imagine, like you were saying, it was probably a ride and a journey in itself, shooting it, and then it being true was another ride. So I imagine, yeah, it was pretty emotional, but something that you guys are very proud of. And I'm glad now that it's being put out there, you know, for everybody to see.
Yeah, that's what you want whenever you make a film that has a lot of heart in it, is that it gets seen and it moves a few people. And I've got some great messages from people that decided to adopt. I got a lot of messages from people who've been adopted and can relate to the story and the you know, the family aspect. And you know, even despite the race element, that John, whenever he was a kid, you know, you don't know any better as a little kid, and you get taught what you're taught, and you got to hope that kid learns love. But the, young John didn't have it, and then he was adopted and learned what it was. And you just hope that it moves people and that it touches people. And see, I'm very proud. 27 years in, I'm so proud that I made a film that I can say I put all my love into. And the reaction's been really great. But also I learned a lot on the set. I learned how to trust my instincts, because now I make decisions more decisively as an actor and artist. So, you know, if I think that this is the right method of approach for this scene, I'm confident in that decision. There's no second guessing myself anymore. And working with Chris and with Sasha was a great experience too, because they're very professional, and they're really awesome to work with. The whole ensemble, Blake, Brian, Jessica, all of them, they were just phenomenal. And so working with other artists that take it very serious too, when you're on set, was a great way to make an independent film. Because when a budget's this small, you want to be around people that, you know, really want to make sure it works. And we all gave it everything. So it was cool.
Sorry, man, I'm over here having camera issues. It's just acting.
No, it's okay, Gravity. I drop my camera all the time, or my phone rather. It has like, I've got the protector on it, and there's like cracks all throughout this thing. So
yeah, I gotta change me right now. Not working today. When
I see someone with an iPhone without a crack, I'm like, you're weird. What are you doing?
Well, that just means that they've gone through more, and you know, they've replaced them. That's what I always say.
Oh yeah, you've had that for a week. Got it. Yeah, that's right.
So coming off a pretty big film like that, I would imagine it would kind of catapult you into great things coming in 2021. So if you can say, what sort of things are you working on this year?
Well, on the side, I do some motion capture for Activision, but I do have a show coming out this year, as I understand it, called Salvage Marines, and that's a science fiction series set in space, and it should be fun. And then and I got to work with a lot of friends on that one, so that was a lot of fun. And then I do have a role coming up this year that I can't talk about.
Okay.
But I'm very excited about that, because I think it'll be the first really big budget thing. And I'm writing a couple of scripts. I am talking with one of my really good friends, Sean, about putting together something. I have a kind of a life story piece that I wrote.
Okay.
Tentatively titled Derek, but it'll change. That I want to get made this year, and so I'm working on the logistics and where we'll shoot and everything else. But that I might just serve as a writer on that, because I don't think I look young enough to play me at 17, and I want it to be authentic. So,
okay.
But yeah, I'm just trying to stay busy, because, you know, this last year rather has been really tough on everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a wild, crazy ride, and sad to see the news. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad that I'm blessed. I have a family, a loving family. I've got a beautiful son. I got a car that runs, a roof over my head. I'm so blessed, and
Yeah.
so yeah, all you can do is try to stay positive. I like that your podcast is called
Yeah.
Positive Gains. I saw your message and I was like, this is cool. This is part of something special, because that what we need is more positivity in the world, and our country needs it badly. Like more love. As cheesy as that sounds, everyone needs that. And
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully I'll spread some this year. But yeah, I've got work coming up, and I'm just grateful for that.
Right. And advice. What advice would you have for somebody? Because you touched on it in the beginning. Your journey was pretty unique, and I feel like a lot of people's are. Everyone has their own walk. But for you, what advice would you give somebody willing to follow your footsteps?
For acting, I would say do the work. I have a lot of friends or acquaintances that they want to be actors. They're waiting for something to be handed to them.
Right.
They want to be actors. They're waiting for that audition. They want to be actors, etc. And I always say the universe listens. There's this thing called The Secret. I'm sure you know about it, where you tell the universe what you want, be specific, and then you go try to accomplish it, and the universe will get out of your way. And that's true. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the order of events. I just got done really training hard in acting, and I'd done a whole conservatory, and I was as sharp as I've ever been as an actor, which you can always improve. And I spoke out loud. I said, I want to do martial arts and guest star on a show, because I did martial arts as a kid, and I got an audition for Into the Badlands, and I booked it. Wow. And I guest starred as Ajax. And I was like, holy crap, I remember saying this a couple months ago. This is what I want. And so then I said, all right, I want a reoccurring role in a show. I don't want to ride horses. See, now it's my turn. Because I grew up on a farm. I grew up on horses. I want to ride a horse. I want to be like the guys in Tombstone. And I got an audition for The Sun, but like a week after I said that.
Wow.
And I went in and I booked it. But like the whole time I'm training and I'm studying and I'm taking acting classes. I don't say I know how to act, so I stop. I go train. Because it's not like a bicycle. Acting is not like a bike. It's a knife and you keep it sharp. So doing the work, and then I was auditioning, and the universe got out of my way. And then I said, that was an amazing experience. I'd finished season 1. I want to be a lead in that show. And I got the email, like, I don't know, it was like 2 weeks after I said that. I was in Coffee Bean saying it out loud with Kelsey. And they said, all right, Shane's been bumped up to series regular. And I'm like, that's happening. And then I went, I had another day or two to do. And I got the audition for Ride. And that was not long after I was saying to myself, I got to get a lead. I got to get a lead. And I got this audition for the supporting role that turned into the lead in the audition room. And so I did it, and I got it. And so there is something there. Like if you just say what you want out loud, and then work your ass off for it. Don't be an actor sitting in your freaking room. If you want to be a working actor, study. But yeah, I did that, and then I've over many years and being a dad, I've also become more loose and I guess fun person to be around. So I'm all about talking and making buddies, and I got a few of them that are really great in the film industry now, and they brought me on for roles. My friend Sean, he brought me on for my first comedic role in Roped. And I loved it, and I think I nailed it, and everyone liked it. And then I got to work with him again, because you make these friends you see eye to eye. You know what each other's skills are. Sean is a great director, but he's also an actor's director where he just says, let's see what you do and then we'll change it if we need to.
Okay.
And so you have freedom to work. And yeah, but so now I'm making more and more connections with people that I like and I care about. And you want that
Right.
as an actor. Once you start getting work, you can start making friends. You need to keep those friends. You know, a lot of
Networking.
that's just being a good person. Don't be a jerk. But yeah, networking is important. But I think the first stage is just do the work.
Do the work.
Say out loud what you want, and then study and train and take classes, even if you feel like you don't need them, because you can always get better. And whenever I don't know, this is cheesy, you know. I don't know if you're a guy of faith or not. I believe
I am.
in something bigger. Okay, good. So yeah, I believe that. But you know, you even if you're not, I think the universe listens. And if you're saying, I want to be an actor, I want to be a celebrity, whatever, and you're not doing anything for yourself, it's never going to realize. Nothing's going to materialize for you. So yeah, that's my advice is do the work, and then the universe will get out of your way. And since I've been doing that, I've been busy and I am so blessed. Yeah.
Well, that's great advice. I really hope that resonates home with a lot of people to do the work. Again, like you said, a lot of people want things handed to them, or they're trying to wait on the big break, I guess what you guys call it. And you have to go out and get it.
Yeah.
So again, Shane, I appreciate you coming on today. I really do. Taking the time out. This has been great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the rest of 2021 holds for you. And again, I appreciate you making, Ride along with everybody. It really hit, home for me. So again, thank you for that.
I'm so glad. That's all I wanted whenever we were making it, is that, there's people out there that get it and they can relate. So thank you for watching, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you're welcome on anytime, anytime you want to come back, you're now officially a friend of the show.
Sweet. Yeah. Whenever I'm told I can talk about the big thing, I'll hit you up.
Okay. I appreciate it. Shane Graham again. Thank you.
Yes, sir. See you.